Hello, and almost Shabbat Shalom. I'll try to make this short, and I hope you find it sweet. First of all, I'm a little scruffy again. Not that these videos are about my face, but it's an opportunity just to remind people who have somewhat less familiarity with the Jewish calendar than others that we're in the midst of the 3 weeks leading up to Tisha B'Av, the saddest day on our calendar, where we mourn the destruction of not one but two temples. The Haftarot after the Torah reading in these 3 weeks are kind of sad predictions of doom, and some Jewish men don't shave for the entire 3 weeks. Some don't just for the 9 days leading up to Tisha B'Av, and some won't shave but will let Shabbat trump that and might say shave for Shabbat. So we'll see how I end up at shul tomorrow. I wanted to let you know that. Also, one other quick thing just about Betham before we get into a piece of Torah. High holidays are coming, not so far away. We're making some really exciting decisions here, particularly as we imagine our first Yamim Noraim, our first high holidays in our new sanctuary. And of course, the main services, the sanctuary service will take place in the sanctuary most of the time. However, I wanted to let you know that an almost final decision, not completely so, is that if you remember last year, because we had to, with joyful flexibility, move out of the sanctuary and we prayed outside for Kol Nidre and for Ne'ilah, people liked it so much that of course we're going to begin Kol Nidre Yom Kippur in the sanctuary, but we think we're going to do Ne'ilah outdoors again and just allow the sun going down and the sky darkening to let us know that the holiday is over. So you can look forward to that, and because the sanctuary might be empty, therefore on Ne'ilah at the end of Yom Kippur, the Beitenu service, stick with me, which has been meeting across the street in Ionic Lodge for years, which this year, if it's ready, and in future years will meet in the gymnasium, might go into the sanctuary for Ne'ilah. Sanctuary service outdoors, Beitenu service in the sanctuary. You can go wherever you would like. Final thing, some of you really love our Hama'alot service, our 90-minute service that we do every once in a while on Shabbat morning, which is rich and curated with the exact right harmonies and songs and hopefully bursts of insight to fill you up and leave you wanting more. We've now done it 4 or 5 years in a row on Rosh Hashanah, second day. We're doing it slightly differently this year, just giving you a heads up. 45 minutes short on the second day of Rosh Hashanah from 10:15 to 11, and 45 minutes short on Yom Kippur as well. We're breaking it into 2. We hope you'll enjoy it. Now to the Torah. In the written piece of Taste of Torah that you'll read in the Shabbat email that comes out or in the bulletin if you come to shul, I speak about a little bit of hesitancy, a holding back that one might want to think about in one's zeal and one's piety to make sure that you are acting not for your own glory, but for the glory of others and for the glory of God. I want to slightly, if not contradict myself, kind of argue the other side based on a wonderful reading of the opening lines of the Parsha by the Netziv, Rabbi Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, who wrote a great commentary called the Ha'amek Davar, which means go deep into the thing. He says that we should read the opening lines this way: when God gives Pinchas, the zealot who kills 2 people who were part of this whoring clan of Israelites and Midianites doing terrible things together in and near the temple, the Mishkan, Pinchas kills them, and that ends the plague, ends God's fury against the Israelites. And the reward to Pinchas is Briti Shalom, my covenant of peace. God gives to Pinchas a covenant of peace. But God does not give it directly. Hold the thought. Remember the Megillah story? You know, Shushan, Esther, Achashverosh. The Hamek Davar doesn't mention this, but this is where my mind went. You know how Haman's lowest point, obviously, eventually he is hanged, but his lowest point while alive is not just that Mordechai gets to ascend, but the Haman has to be the one to lead him on that horse. The indignity of being present while the other one is getting the glory that you thought you deserved. Now go back to our Parsha. God doesn't just give Pinchas this covenant, this reward directly. God says, Lachein Amor. He says to Moshe, therefore Moshe, you say to Pinchas, Hineni notein lo et briti shalom. I'm giving him, my covenant of peace. God doesn't tell Pinchas directly. God says to Moshe, you tell him. Why? The Netziv says this is a critique of Moshe. Moshe, you had an opportunity to be zealous too. You had an opportunity to defend my temple, my honor too. You had an opportunity to do the right thing too. Put aside for the fact our discomfort, our understandable discomfort with how Pinchas does his zealotry, and pull out of it that the Torah understands him having done a proper thing for God. And God says to Moshe, you held back. You were too cautious. You were not sufficiently brave. And you tell Pinchas that that's his reward. In this moment, according to the Netziv, God is not only rewarding Pinchas, who we don't hear so much from again in the story. God is telling Moshe a very important lesson for the most prominent leader in the Torah. If you have something righteous to do, and you know it should be done, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And God says that not just to Moshe, but to every one of us, to me and to you, in all realms, whatever we consider to be the righteous act that must be done to save, to rescue, to redeem, to make better. What are you waiting for? I want to say Shabbat Shalom and end this piece. And those of you who don't want to linger can click off. And those of you who do want to linger, and hoping that my computer, which is next to me, does not ding again and interrupt this, I'll do it short. I'm going to invite you to go from seeing to just kind of being, to close your eyes as I'm about to do. To take in that return to your body that feels so right when we do it and so elusive when we're not focusing on it. I want you to feel the embrace of the earth, the embrace of the world pulling down upon you with a gravitational embrace and hug. And as you take the deep breaths, the kind of breaths that once you take them, you realize your body has been waiting for them. Oh, that's what I need to be alive. That kind of nishima, breath, brings back my neshama, my soul. Take a few deep ones in as much silence as is present right now, relegating all other sounds that you might hear into the periphery. You can hear them without listening to them. Just really listen to your breath. And as you focus much more on your breath and your mind than you do my voice or anything else, let the following words penetrate you just enough that they matter. If you are Pinchas, or you are Moshe, and there's a right thing or a righteous thing that you know must be done by someone in your life, in your family, in your realm, in the world. If there is tzedek, tzedakah waiting to be done, what are you waiting for? What holds you back? What will it take to release you to the good, to the just, to the pious? And as you open your eyes and I look back at you, if you're still there, may this Shabbat bring it out of us. Be the force that draws it out, so that we can give it out to where it is needed. Shabbat Shalom.